Okay, you have access to this, but essentially one of the key issues is making sure that you don't miss any of the steps, because if you do, then you're going to find yourself with holes in the report. I can tell you that people will tell you where the holes are, right? So it's better to make sure that you've checked, and if there are holes in information, acknowledge them when you do the report. I think we are entering an age of accountability, and there is an expectation that we are honest about it, because the sustainability journey essentially is a work in progress. We are really making it up as we go, right? I mean, this is what I find when I talk to my clients. And where there are gaps, then we say, okay, well, how are we going to handle this? Let's say that we think this is the most efficient, energy-saving strategy for this time in place, right? And where you make mistakes, you acknowledge it along the way. So I think that's very important. There's a sense of being more humble, and that acknowledging that we are doing something noble, hopefully, in the midst of trying to run a business as well. The next one, step 5, I'll just go into right on step 5. This is the format and how do you disseminate the information, right? So you decided how you're going to do it thematically, and then you consider how you're going to throw it out there. And there's some really good examples. Has anybody ever have seen the Van City sustainability website? It's really excellent if you have a chance. And Synthamec, and I'll go through it very quickly, also show how, according to your stakeholders, if you're going to do it to your employees and they're young, you want to make it really interactive, you can use different mediums. This is really obvious stuff. I'm not telling you anything that's new, but you'll be surprised how often it gets missed. Because I have to say that for some reason, reporting becomes this ego thing. We want to tell our story, and sometimes we don't tell the story people want to hear. We tell the story that we think is important, right? It is something that this is the introspective part of it. So you have a story to tell. Make sure that you consult and you hear from, how are other people doing too. Don't reinvent the wheel, right? Just go through, scan everything, go through Starbucks and interface carpets, go outside of the sector. I've done quite a bit of work out of the sector since I left directly to operating in 2004, and I have learned so much. For some reason, we think we're special, tourism special. We really need to look at the people who are doing this really well. Now, I want to raise the issue of materiality, so the issue-based reporting. So materiality is term that was developed by the Global Reporting Initiative. It was used, they kind of use it widely, and it essentially means the impact on your business, right? So remember when we did those issues-based, water, climate change, or whatever is relevant to you. So you have to identify the issues and how it affects your business, and then you prioritize them, and maybe you combine the priority of the issues as impact, economic impact, social, environmental impact. Then you look at that stakeholder map, and then you weigh in and see who is the most important people you should be, reporting to and focusing on. And this is when you get a picture of what you want to produce. And you know what? Have somebody from outside of the business read it. Get internal and external validation. I think that will give you, get us out of our little cocoon. Now, this is materiality metrics by Symantec. They are the software company. And you could do one for your company. This is a really excellent one, but is it totally relevant to us? I don't think so. I would put, let's say, water on the top right quadrant. I would put, let's say, security, right? I mean, the issues of security. We are a soft target. And I work a lot internationally, and the issue of terrorism and security is key. I would add, there was another one that see, if you don't write it down, you forget it. That I can't see here. employee retention and so on. So you create this little matrix, and there's all kinds of systems out there. But you can do one, you brainstorm with your staff, and okay, what's important, and you put them and say, this is what we need to tackle first. Okay, this is the example of TUI. So TUI is the largest company in the world, vertically integrated, 30 million passengers, 143 aircraft, revenues of $13 billion, and they have 50,000 employees worldwide. So if you want to look at an example of an organization that is so complex that they have to report, they're in the FTSE for good, they're a FTSE 100 company. This is the areas that is material for them. Right? Pretty obvious, aviation because of the carbon emission and climate change, protecting the destinations, protecting destinations from the impact of climate change, so that's essential. Some mitigation, although pretty hard to do when you have 143 airplanes, and then maybe some adaptation strategy for destinations, and then the whole shifting demographics and consumer trends, and ties in very nicely. I didn't know that you had Tim's presentation, but the whole idea of changing preferences and the survey that TUI did. Codes and guidelines, I'm not going to go through it because this is kind of complicated. The GRI, anybody has had to report the Global Reporting Initiative? No? I'd say if you want to prepare a report, go online. Look at you can download everything. You can download it by economics, environmental, labor, practice, human rights, society, and use it as a checklist. It's really great. And you say, okay, have we covered that? Do we have that? It really is a very useful tool. Now I want to talk a little bit about the thank yous. Has anybody worked with the 6 sins of greenwashing? You know how difficult it is for a Spanish-speaking person to say 6 sins. I want to say sex something, Anyway, there's 7 of them. There used to be 6, and there is 7 of them right now. And I just wanted to maybe get some quick feedback from you on what you just explain to them what they are. So the hidden trade-off. It's a sin of having committed, that is committed by suggesting a product is green based on a reasonable narrow set of attributes without attention to other important environmental issues. Any examples in tourism that may happen? Sin of the hidden trade-off. Okay, you may use, let's say, you say, okay, we use solar panels, but you don't manage your waste properly, and your waste has a bigger impact on the community. Right? That's an example. So again, it's the whole idea of making sure that whatever you're doing, you're balancing it properly. The sin of no proof is committed by an environmental claim that cannot be substantiated by easily accessible supporting information or by a reliable third-party certification. So how can you go to a buffet, or you go to in the hotel or in the restaurant, they say 80% of everything that we serve is from organic sources, right? Okay, how are you going to prove that? So if you say that in your report, you say 80% is from organic sources. We source it from certified farmers, let's say.